All right, everybody, welcome back into Week 14, the biggest, most important matchups for a lot of us of our entire fantasy season.
I know I'm over here sweating it already. I've got a 2 seed and a 1 seed on the line this week, and it's important for me. And I know a lot of you guys out there, it's going to be important for last week of the regular season for fantasy. For most leagues, I do know a few leagues go a little deeper, but yeah, it's definitely going to be an important week coming up.
Yeah, very important week with some very intriguing matchups on a huge bye week with a lot of good teams, a lot of great players out this week.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are a lot of big names out this week, and trending in the wrong direction too.
Yeah, this is why we've been doing the waivers we've been doing on our podcast the last couple of weeks, Brant, was to get people ready for this bye-apocalypse. There's like I said, there's a lot of really good names on there, and there's a lot of guys that are good names that are playing this week that just have extremely tough matchups as well. So it'll be really interesting to see how this week unfolds.
Absolutely. It's going to be an interesting week. I'm actually anxious to see Sunday night, seeing some people's hopes and dreams, and you know what they need to be done in the Sunday and Monday night games.
You know that I'm completely out of it in a few of my leagues, and in one of my other leagues that I genuinely care about, I'm locked in the 1 seed right now. But there's lots of people out there, Brant, that are sweating that they're sitting at 6-7 or 7-6, and they're just trying to do everything they can to get themselves into the playoffs at this point. So there's a lot of playoff implications on the line, and I know for a lot of people that if you don't make playoffs, the whole thing's been a waste. Your draft research, showing up to draft day, all of it, it's all been for naught. So. All right, looks like we have our first question.
There we go.
Andrew says Andrews or Hawkinson. So you've got Mark Andrews with Tyler Huntley against the Steelers, or you've got TJ Hawkinson with Kirk Cousins in a non-primetime game against his former team, the Lions. Where you at on that, Brant?
I'm actually right here. I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson. That's one of the highest scoring games this week. I expect that game to go back and forth. I know it's a divisional game, but neither one of those defenses are the greatest. So I actually really like TJ Hawkinson this week. I expect the Lions to focus on trying to take out Jefferson to the best of their ability. You can't take a guy like that out. So I expect Hawkinson to maybe find the end zone once this week. And with Huntley, he likes to scramble a lot, so I don't know how much I really like Andrews this week. I know he does have a better arm in my mind than Lamar Jackson, so I'm actually going to lean Hawkinson a little bit over Andrews.
Yeah, I'm taking Hawkinson. You're talking about a game with the Lions and the Vikings that's a 51.5 point over under, and the Ravens Steelers is at 36.5. So I'm definitely more intrigued by the fantasy value in that second matchup than I am
highest and lowest.
Correct. Dolphins and Chargers is the highest as of right now.
Oh, yep, that one did go up since I wrote it down. You are correct. Oh, let's see. Need 2 in PPR. What was that? ETN, Devonta Smith, and Najee. Thanks for the question, Josh. PPR. Oh my goodness. I think that the absolute must start here, and the one name that I think I'm keeping it is actually ETN. I expect them to pass a lot against Tennessee. I know that their secondary isn't the greatest, so I do like ETN and in the PPR PPR form. The other two, though, I mean, Najee has Baltimore in one of the lowest scoring games, and they don't. Man, that one's tough. What's your thought on those other two names? I mean, what's your thought on all this?
It's ETN and Najee for me. Again, it depends. Do I need a home run? If I need a home run, then maybe I go Smith. But Najee, the game script actually lines out better for Najee than it doesn't. If it's a low-scoring game, you're going to see more Najee than you will, Jalen Warren or Benny Snell. So I think I like, the low-scoring game with Baltimore for Najee. So I go ETN and Najee.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Najee just as it's a safer play. You know he's going to get carries also. You know that he's probably going to get targeted. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Najee as the safer play. Now that I really look at it, I think they try to keep the ball the best away from Baltimore, even though there's not that threat of Lamar Jackson.
Okay. Amy says Garrett Wilson or George Pickens in PPR. Brant, I'm going to go ahead and go on this one just because in my mind this isn't as particularly close as it once was. It's Garrett Wilson at this point. I do believe that eventually George Pickens is going to have a really solid career, and I think it will come with Kenny Pickett. But something's changed in the last couple of weeks. They really wanted to force feed the ball to Deontay Johnson, and so for that reason, I'm going to the guy who's been balling out consistently the last couple of weeks, and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Amy, for listening every week and tuning in with us also. I'm going Garrett Wilson here also. He's been Mike White's favorite target. It seems since he took over the starting role, he's thrown for over 300 yards in 3 out of the 5 games he started. So I absolutely love Garrett Wilson this week. Once again, I do believe in the years to come or next year, George Pickens becomes the one in the Pittsburgh offense, but I don't think he's there yet.
Paul says, I've got wide receivers Marquise Brown and Mike Williams. Who would you use to start of the two? So you've got Marquise Monday night against the New England Patriots and Mike Williams in that highest scoring game against the Dolphins on Sunday night.
I actually think oh my goodness. I actually think I go with Marquise Brown here. We know New England likes to take away the best weapon from a team with Belichick scheming. So they're going to try to take away DeAndre Hopkins. So I think I actually lean Marquise Brown here. Mike Williams has the highest ceiling in my mind with due to the fact that they are playing in the highest scoring game this week. But I think I go with the safe. I think Marquise Brown in my mind is the safer play this week, just because I think they try to take away Hopkins, and that should leave Marquise Brown able to get open.
Yeah, I actually think that it was a good decision on your part not to pick a Chargers wide receiver, Brant. So kudos to you for that. But I think I will take Mike Williams because we've learned when it comes to Chargers wide receivers, you take the opposite of what Brant picks. So it's got to be Mike Williams for me.
That is true. That has been the trend the last 2 weeks. Absolutely.
No, but listen, what it really comes down to for me is Vegas has the highest over/under odds on this one. To me, there's going to be a ton of points scored. There's very capable offenses on both sides of that game, and both the defenses have been reeling a little bit here as of late. So I think I do like Mike Williams this week, even though I do think he will be on somewhat of a snap count. I just think he's got a chance to be the guy more so than I think Marquise does with DeAndre Hopkins in town. Joe says Jeff Wilson or Travis Homer in the flex PPR. Brant, we just had this question backstage before we started the show here. So where's your head at on this one?
I'm not trusting a Seattle running back this week with Kenneth Walker possibly out, very possibly out, and DJ Dallas trending in the wrong direction. I know Homer's slated to be the starter. I know Carolina's a little softer against the run than actually, the Chargers are actually softer against the run than Carolina, but I can't trust a Seattle running back. I expect Homer to see touches. I expect Jones to see some touches, and I expect the guy we brought up for the practice squad, don't even ask me to pronounce his name, to see some touches too. So I can't trust Homer. I like Jeff Wilson, especially in PPR. I just can't trust the Seattle running back this week.
Sure. The one thing I will say about this is I think Raheem Mostert is the starter in Miami. I know if you look at the last month as a whole, it was Jeff Wilson post trade deadline. But prior to that, Raheem Mostert looked pretty good there. He came out last week in a bad game for both of those Dolphins running backs. And did have more work. So I'm a little nervous about that one. So I think I probably lean Travis Homer. I would expect Travis Homer to be the main back in that backfield this week for Seattle. So I think if I'm going to in a point where I have to start one of these two, and again, it's a nasty week for bye week, so I could understand having to. I think I have to lean Travis Homer.
Okay. All right. I think we skipped one question here. We had Matt ask Dobbins, Gallup, or Deontay Johnson. This one here, I lean Deontay Johnson. Just like you said, they've been trying to force feed him some targets. So I actually lean Deontay Johnson in this one. I don't trust Dobbins coming back week 1. If you want a home run play, Gallup might be a home run play, though, this week. But then again, they could get up to a quick early lead and not see Gallup on the field a whole lot. But I expect Dallas to come out firing. But I have to lean Deontay Johnson for the safer play.
Yeah, Brant, I'm kind of on the same play here you are. Dobbins, first week back, I'm not trusting it unless I absolutely have to. And when you have 3 names on the screen, you don't have to. So I'm moving off of Dobbins. And then the problem with Gallup is that if you actually go and look at the Houston Texans points allowed for opposing quarterbacks in fantasy this year, it's not been much because they give up so much on the ground that teams just come in and pound the ball. And Dallas has 2 capable running backs in Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott. Now that's not to say that they may not come out and put 2, early touchdowns on the board through the air, but that could just as easily be Dalton Schultz as it is CeeDee Lamb, as it is Michael Gallup. And if they get up early, you could see these guys rest a lot. So I think I actually go Deontay Johnson again, just because I think he'll have 4 quarters of work this week. Whereas I'm not sure I see that for Michael Gallup. Joe says he needs 2: McKenzie, Sheffield, Nelson Aguilar, Gary Brightwell, Kenneth Gainwell, or Alexander Madison.
Joe, did Bipocalypse get you, buddy?
There's a chance. Isaiah McKenzie becomes my first one that I want to play. He's definitely starting to week in and week out get some love from Josh Allen. Honestly, I think Josh Allen's injury from earlier in the season has kind of prevented him from going deep as often as he did at the beginning of the season. And that works out in Isaiah McKenzie's favor. So for me, I have Isaiah McKenzie as my first can't miss. Then you get to the rest of these guys, and if Saquon Barkley happens to be out, then it's probably Brightwell for me. Honestly, this may be a non-great opinion, but it's probably Nelson Aguilar for me if Barkley plays.
Yeah, Isaiah McKenzie's like you said, he's the must start out of those 2. I absolutely love McKenzie. Gainwell's got a tough matchup against the Giants, even though he has started to see his snap share climb a little bit. But I know the Giants are a little tougher defense. I think I actually lean either Aguilar or Madison here. I think I'm going to go Aguilar. I think it's the safer play. So yeah, I'm going to lean Aguilar and McKenzie because we don't know how much we're going to see Madison or Gainwell on the field.
Okay. Mark says White or Devonta Smith in PPR.
Let's see. They play. That's the noon slate. But Tampa Bay plays the 49ers at 4:20. I think I have to lean Devonta Smith here. Unfortunately, I'd like to go White. But I don't know the status of Fournette. If Fournette happens to get ruled out before noon, I know
he's expected to play.
Okay.
Expected to play.
I'm definitely going to lean Smith here. I think it's the safer play. The Niners defense is just amazing this year. They stop the run, they stop the pass. They're doing phenomenal things, and I expect that team to really lean on that defense, and I expect that defense to step up and be really, really good this week. So yeah, I'm going to lean Smith on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going Devonta Smith in this one as well. Just again, a game against the 49ers with a third string quarterback. I think it actually lends itself to be a potential Fournette game. So I think I definitely agree. I think Devonta Smith is a better play this week. Good morning, Garrett. He says he has 2 questions. Final wide receiver spot: Mike Williams, Donovan Peoples-Jones, or Gabe Davis. He says currently he's leaning Donovan Peoples-Jones. So we'll talk about that first, and then we'll move into a second question. So for the final wide receiver spot, Brant, are you on Mike Williams, Donovan Peoples-Jones, or Gabe Davis?
I am actually on Gabe Davis this one. Once again, we got a Chargers wide receiver, so you may want to go opposite of me, but I'm actually leaning Gabe Davis on this one. I expect Sauce to line up with Diggs, so I expect a great matchup. Diggs will get his there, but I expect Gabe Davis to actually have a very big week this week. I like him this week as the number 2. The Jets have been pretty decent about hanging up points and staying in games, so I expect this game to actually be a pretty close game. So I actually like Gabe Davis this week.
Yeah, I actually think I'm leaning Donovan Peoples-Jones as well with Amari Cooper, as a game time decision with his hip injury. Whether he plays or not, I could see Donovan Peoples-Jones having a slightly bigger role this week in an effort to avoid further injury potentially to Amari Cooper. So I think I do agree with Donovan Peoples-Jones in that first set of questions there. So he says for his 2 flexes, he's got the 3 wide receivers above, or Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, or Deontay Foreman in half-point PPR.
So here I'm going to take Peoples-Jones to be in my flex, and then my other flex I'm going Foreman. Yeah, I'm sorry you can't bench a running back against the Seattle defense. As hurtful as that is to me, we can't stop a runner. We cannot stop a running back. So I'm taking Foreman, and I'm taking Peoples-Jones as my 2 flex.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Mike Williams as the flex along with Foreman, just like you alluded to, Brant. And I agree. I expect him to have a fairly good game this week against your Seattle defense because that's really all Carolina's got to offer. I don't expect Sam Darnold to keep them in that game this week. I think they'll follow the trend of the Rams last week and just let Foreman just have as many carries as he can handle.
Mike Williams, the only reason I'm staying off Mike Williams is a lot as he's been in and out of games quite a bit this year. So yes, I am. I know it looks like I'm avoiding. Mike Williams is a good play if he plays the whole game. I'm just kind of avoiding it because I just don't know if he's going to finish the game. So Mike Williams is a good play. I do see why you take Williams here. And I mean, my track record with the Chargers doesn't help either.
There it is. Good morning, Jennifer. She says in PPR flex, she needs 1: Devonta Smith, Travis Etienne, Deontay Foreman, Zay Jones if he plays, or Fournette.
Okay, and we just talked about not taking Foreman out against Seattle, but now we got other names here.
Listen, the Titans have a very good run defense. They don't have a good pass defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly, in this one would lean Zay Jones if Zay Jones played. If Deontay Foreman's name wasn't on there, I'm going Deontay Foreman.
Yeah, I think I have to go Foreman on this one. Seattle's just too soft against the running backs, and I know Carolina's going to want to lean on it, especially the way that Seattle's offense has been going with Geno Smith. So I think that they're going to want to lean on Foreman. So I think I go Zay Jones if he does play. If not, I am going Foreman on this one, and that's really hard to bench ETN, but I think those are the best 2 there.
John says Homer or Rachaad White in half-point PPR.
Okay, let's see. Seattle.
I really want to go Homer here, Brant. I don't know if I'm just delusional or what, but I know Rachaad White's been good, but that Niners defense scares the crap out of me, and Fournette scares the crap out of me. Whereas I think Homer probably should be the best back in town if DJ Dallas and Kenneth Walker end up being out for sure. So I want to go Homer here. Talk me out of it.
I don't think I can on this one, honestly. As much as I want to avoid the Seattle backfield, I know Homer's going to see touches. I know he's going to be involved some way, some form. For White, it's like you said, going against that Niners defense, I really think the game script leans Fournette in the power run game and not so much as the elusive game. So I think I actually have to go Homer here. Softer defense in Carolina. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Homer, actually, on this one. I don't think I could talk you out of it.
Okay. Andre says, pick 3 standard league: Connor, Pierce, Pacheco, Bam Knight, or Travis Homer. So you've got Connor against the Patriots Monday night, Damian Pierce against the Cowboys, Isaiah Pacheco against the Broncos, Bam/Zonovan Knight against the Bills, or Travis Homer against the Panthers.
So the one name that I absolutely love here is Pacheco. So Pacheco's my one name that I absolutely love here, and the one name that I'm getting rid of is Pierce, and the reason is I think the game script takes Pierce out of the game. I know they don't really have anybody to throw the ball to, but I expect Dallas to put the foot on the pedal and just go, and I think that's going to take Pierce out of the game. So I think I have Pacheco's one of my first ones. I think I have to go with Connor because he's really the only name in that backfield. And oh my goodness. So it's Bam or Homer. I think I have to go with Bam. He's been the most explosive back in that backfield. So I think I have to go with Pacheco, Knight, and Connor as my three.
Yeah, for me, I agree with you on your first two. It's Pacheco and Connor for me as well. Again, I'm also fading Pierce just simply because I think this game takes Pierce, or the Dallas Cowboys take Pierce out of this game. And for me, it actually is a lot clearer on my third answer as well. Michael Carter is back, practicing full all week this week, and he has had his fair doses of being explosive as well. James Robinson's expected to play as well. So there's three-headed monster there well, not really a monster, but a three-headed backfield there in the Jets against the Bills. And again, that backfield there could be also taken out of it to where it's pass catching down work for the Jets early and often. And I like Michael Carter in that role. So I actually go Travis Homer over Bam Knight.
Now that I don't own any Carter, but if he is back and he is playing this week, I think I have to go with Homer if Carter is playing this week.
Chris says, hey guys, I need 2 running backs and a flex for PPR. He's got Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard, Gus Edwards, Michael Carter, or Travis Homer. So he actually needs 3 of these running backs. So Brant, am I crazy to say you have to start both the Dallas backs this week? First off,
Nope.
Okay, so
those are my first 2 right there. Elliott and Pollard. The game script's perfect for both of them. They play the worst rush defense in the NFL, one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL. And so, yes, start both those guys. I think they both find the end zone today. And my third one, oh my goodness, how much does Dobbins work? How much does Carter work? I think I go with the safer play out of the other 3 is actually Homer, because Carter's coming back from injury. They're going to see what they got in Dobbins. So I think Homer might be the safer play out of those 3.
Listen, I need you to do me a favor, Brant. I need you to pick up your cell phone and call Crazy Pete, old senile Pete, and let him know that we need a lot of Homer today, because I'm going Homer again as well. So I think I have to go with the 2 Dallas backs and Homer here. So
just think, backstage we were talking about how I wanted to fade Seattle's backs, but now that I see some of the other names out this week, I don't know if I can fade them.
Nope. Derek says Tua or Burrow and Rachaad White or Homer. I wasn't expecting to see Homer's name this much, but I like it. So let's start with this quarterback thing. You've got Tua against the Chargers, and you've got Burrow against the Browns. Where's your head at on that one, Brant?
So my head is go Tua with the highest scoring game this week. He has the more rushing upside, but the way Burrow's been playing, I don't know if you can bench him. Just the way that he's been playing. I know the Chargers are weaker against the run than they are the pass, so that one's a little tougher. I actually think I go with Tua this week just because it is the higher scoring game, and I expect them to get the pass catchers involved quite a bit this week. So I think I actually have to go Tua.
I go Burrow, and I'm going to tell you why, Brant. It's a little deeper than just Burrow or Tua for me. Jamar Chase is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League against zone defenses. Cleveland is predominantly a zone pass defense team. And when Chase has a good game, Burrow has a good game. Obviously, they go hand in hand. I expect Chase to have a great game this week, so therefore I expect Burrow to have a great game. I'm going Burrow over Tua. As far as the Rachaad White or Travis Homer, same reasons for why I picked Homer over him earlier. I just think that Fournette and the 49ers defense scare me off of Rachaad White. I'm not scared of the unknown practice player that Brant can't pronounce, or Tony Jones Jr. So I go Travis Homer here.
All right, and as for your quarterbacks, Derek, you can't go wrong with either Burrow or Tua this week. I think they both have great weeks, so I know we're split. So go with your gut on that one.
I agree.
And yeah, I'm leaning Homer. Same reasons that we've talked about before. As I think this game script's Fournette. I think it's power running game this week for Tampa Bay, so I have to go with Homer.
Josh says, we trusting Palmer with Mike White Mike White back or Mike Williams, goodness gracious, or go Gabe Davis or DJ Chark in PPR.
Well, I got to fade the Chargers for myself. So why don't you take this one here?
So for me, I actually think this does come down to those last two guys there in Gabe Davis and DJ Chark. I've kind of faded Gabe Davis a lot in this live. Here we are in week 14. I think I've tried to fade him just about every week so far, just because he's so boom or bust. When he hits, it's amazing. When he doesn't, it's atrocious. DJ Chark's really kind of come on as a secondary pass catcher to Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions in a game that I expect to be very pass heavy. Jared Goff's looked great as of late. I think I go DJ Chark in this one over Gabe Davis, but it was actually the closest I've been to saying Gabe Davis this year, I would say.
So I'm going Gabe Davis. I just think that the game script for him is a little bit better since Sauce will probably be on Diggs most of the game. So I expect a decent week or a big week out of Gabe Davis. So I actually lean Gabe Davis on this one. So yeah, I'm going to have to take Davis over Chark.
Ryan says, pick 2 PPR, Dameon Pierce, Travis Homer, Leonard Fournette, and I assume that's Jamal Williams. So as long as that's Jamal is 100% my first one. And then again, for a lot of the reasons we've said for Homer already today, unfortunately, I think I'm going to go Homer again. It's week 14, and I absolutely hate putting my playoffs on what would you call him? A third string or a second string running back, maybe.
Well, he started third, and then Penny went down, and then he went to second. So we could go 2.5 string.
Okay, yeah. So my 2.5 string running back, but I'm going Jamal Williams and Travis Homer. I just think Dameon Pierce is taken out of that game. I think you see more Rex Burkhead for Houston this week than you do Dameon Pierce after Dallas gets up to a decent lead. And as much as Leonard Fournette scares me off of Rashad White and the 49ers defense still scares me off of starting Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, so until Jamal Williams stops stealing 1-yard touchdowns, I don't think I can pull him out of my lineup, even though Swift's snap count has come up. So Jamal Williams is definitely a start for me. And I hate saying that, with Swift snap share coming up and your playoffs probably on the line or a seeding on the line, but I don't think I pull Jamal Williams out. And then Travis Homer again, same reasons you said. It's the 49ers defense. They scare me off that backs. I do think Fournette sees multiple touches this week to pound the ball, but how productive are those touches against that 49ers defense? So yeah, I expect it. I expect the game script to be for Fournette, but I don't know if I trust starting him over the other two names there. So I'm going Homer and Williams.
Okay. Brian Kelly, PPR, need a wide receiver and a flex to fill. Mike Williams, DJ Moore, James Cook, and or Rashad White. So for goodness, I think the easiest one for me to pick here is I think James Cook in the flex. I really like what James Cook did last week. He got a lot of carries, and it wasn't necessarily in late salt the game away time. He's actually getting involved pretty early. So I think I do go James Cook in the flex. And then as far as these two wide receivers, my gut wants to go Mike Williams again here because DJ Moore's just been so bad. Seattle's secondary is improved week in and week out. And it's only going to be week 2 of Sam Darnold, right? Because they're on a bye last week. So I think I go Mike Williams just because the potential of a 50-yard touchdown reception exists with him. I just don't know what I believe in DJ Moore and Sam Darnold's connection. So I think I go Mike Williams for the wide receiver and James Cook for the flex.
Yeah, I'm going James Cook. I absolutely love his matchup this week against the Jets. I know the Jets defense has been very, very good this year, a lot better than a lot expected. But I like James Cook as he's taken over that lead back there. Oh, I'm going Mike Williams as well. I just don't know how well DJ Moore is going to fare against our decent secondary. I don't want to say they're good, but Traquan Wolin's been very, very good for Seattle secondary. So yeah, I think I have to go Williams and Cook here also.
Okay. Jason says Devonta Smith versus the Giants or Ayuk versus Tampa Bay. I honestly believe that Brock Purdy eventually could be great for Brandon Ayuk later this season as the deep ball chemistry gets established. But with the third string quarterback, I honestly think the biggest uptick early is Kittle and Christian McCaffrey and a little bit of Debo sprinkled in there. So I fade Ayuk. I'll take Devonta Smith with Jalen Hurts over Ayuk with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I'm taking Devonta Smith. I'm not trusting really any of the pass catchers there in San Francisco this week unless I absolutely have to, because I don't know where Purdy's going to be with that. I expect Kittle to see the most uptick in it. So yeah, I have to go with Devonta Smith.
Zach says Jerry Jeudy, Miles Sanders, or Marquise Brown in PPR.
Oh man, I really like Brown this week, but this one's tough.
For me, it's Jeudy. There's no Cortland Sutton in a game that Denver's going to have to throw the ball, even though Russ has not been good. Jerry Jeudy's been his favorite target when he's been healthy, and no Cortland Sutton just means extra targets for Jeudy in my mind. I go Jeudy here.
Yeah, I think I have to go Jeudy too. As you alluded to, no Sutton. I think Jeudy sees multiple targets this week. I actually have him down as one of my big time performers this week is Jeudy. So yeah, I think I have to go with Jeudy over the other two names.
Amy says Foreman, Najee, Knight, Latavius Murray sit one in PPR.
Oh, sit one. I'm sitting Murray. He's too inconsistent. I don't expect that game script to allow them to run. So I'm actually going to sit Murray this week. Mike Boone's back. I know he saw, he's back last week. He saw getting into the snap. So I actually sit Murray.
Yeah, I think I fade Murray too. For me, it comes down to Knight and Murray. But I think Knight's earned a decent enough role. And I expect the Jets to stay somewhat competitive against the Bills for at least a decent amount of this game. So for me, I'm sitting Latavius Murray against the Chiefs. David says, due to buys and a large roster, I need one in full PPR. Hasty with a banged up ETN or Homer. This one's Homer for me. I just really like the matchup. I really like how much I think. Again, I haven't talked to Pete Carroll. That's Brant's job. But I think Homer should see the large volume of this backfield this week for Seattle. So I actually lean Homer.
Pete doesn't call me till the injuries are fully in and out, so I won't get that call till about 1-2 o'clock Central Time. So, but no, I lean Homer on this. I think ETN has a good workload. I know he's banged up, but I can't trust Hasty, so give me Homer on that one.
Okay. Lewis, good morning. He says Raheem Mostert or Homer. He's got Patterson and Jones on a bye. Brant, are we both still in agreement on Homer over the Dolphins backfield at this point?
As much as I like the Dolphins backfield, that one is going to be a split 50-50. And I do see Homer as the lead back in Seattle. So yeah, I think I have to go with Homer.
You and I are going to be in a lot of trouble, Brant. There could be some pitchforks and torches coming at us if Homer has a bad week. So let's fingers crossed here that Travis Homer does what we expect him to do.
We just need him to fall in the end zone once or twice, please. Oh, let's see.
Desan says, good morning, guys. I'm stumped. Should I start Fournette or Gabe Davis in the flex, half-point PPR?
I'm going Gabe Davis here. Yeah, with half-point PPR. Oh, man. Fournette's safe because I know he's going to see touches. I think I still have to go Davis. I think the game script's good for Davis this week. I think Sauce helps take away Diggs a little bit. So I have to lean Davis on this one.
Desan, I'm going to excuse me, I'm going to break it down like this. If you're already in the playoffs, go Fournette. If you're winning and you get in, you go Gabe Davis. I want my best puncher's chance. for high points. So if I need an explosion to get in and guarantee I make the playoffs, I'm going Gabe Davis for Marty, and it's Fournette. Matt says, good morning. Just wanted to thank you guys for all the advice throughout the season. Going to the playoffs as the number one seed. Hey, Matt, we like to hear that. Number one seeds are nice. But once we start that playoff, everybody's record 0-0, right? So keep it up. We'll keep coming for you guys through the rest of the season, even through week 18 for those funky leagues that have championship week 18. So we will keep being here for you for your playoff start sit advice. Walleye Wrangler, good morning. Good to see you again. James Conner or Travis Homer? This is one where I will go James Conner. I think, kind of like Brant had alluded to earlier, he's definitely the best back in that backfield. This is a guy that just last season, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, Brant, but I believe he led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. So he's definitely capable of falling in the end zone, a few times a week. So I like James Conner in this one.
Yeah, I'm taking James Conner over Homer on this one as well.
Hey, there we go. We finally found somebody to sit Homer over. Dickie says Higgins or Foreman at flex and Pittsburgh defense or Seattle defense. So let's start with this flex. Do you start Dante Foreman against your Seattle Seahawks, or do you start T. Higgins against the Browns?
Oh my goodness.
I think this one comes down to, again, do you need an explosion or do you need safety? Safety says Foreman. If you need an explosion, you go Higgins. Brant, I imagine you're on that same line of thinking. If it's an explosion, you go Higgins, and safety is Foreman, correct?
Yeah, I think if you need the higher ceiling, higher upside, you go with Higgins, but Foreman's the safest play this week against Seattle. We know he's going to see touches. We know he's going to get 4 or 5 yards of carry against the Seattle defense.
All right.
As for the defense, I go Pittsburgh over the Seattle defense. Going to backup quarterback, I absolutely love Pittsburgh's defense this week. They've been on the uptick. They're getting healthy. I actually am going to live on that edge with you as I picked up Pittsburgh in a few of my leagues to play them. So I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh defense.
I think Pittsburgh's defense will allow less points potentially and potentially have more sacks. But that secondary in Seattle, they've been ball hawks a lot lately. And I could see Sam Darnold having a couple interceptions this week. So this is a lot closer than I think. But again, safety-wise, I think it's Pittsburgh. Marlon says Mike Williams or Donovan Peoples-Jones. Again, for me, I'm going Donovan Peoples-Jones over Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams has some home run ability. I don't expect to see him have a snap count much over 50% if he gets to 50%. Whereas I think Donovan Peoples-Jones could be the guy if Amari Cooper happens to miss the week or be on a snap count himself. So I go Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, I think here I actually have to fade the Chargers wide receivers again. So yeah, I'm going to have to go with Peoples-Jones there. I think the as high a scoring game the Miami Chargers game is, I still think I have to go with Peoples-Jones here. I think that Cooper may be on a snap count, so I'm gonna lean Jones here.
Josh says flex one: Homer, Mostert, Carter, or Deontay Johnson. For this one, I think I actually go the wide receiver. I think he's going to see 8+ targets this week. Should have 5+ receptions. So I think I go Deontay Johnson over these backs. Again, I think Homer's safe, but I think Deontay Johnson's also safe with a higher ceiling.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson. Also, I think he has the bigger play upside. So yeah, I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson over the other ones.
Tyler says Saquon Barkley or Zonovan Knight. Obviously Saquon's going to be a game time decision. But if he plays, he's a guy that I have to have in my lineup. Again, Michael Carter being back does scare me a fair amount with Knight, because Carter's been just fine himself in the past. We've seen Michael Carter have several fantasy relevant weeks. So I do go Saquon Barkley as long as he plays in this matchup. Obviously, if Saquon's out, then you have to go Knight. But if Saquon plays, I'm going Saquon.
Yeah, if Saquon's in, you got to play Saquon. I'm in the same boat there. Barkley overnight, unless Barkley's out.
Ryan, I know you asked this question earlier. I saw this one tracking on the comments earlier, and you said you forgot to put Foreman in. So that does change this a little bit for me. I do go Foreman and Jamal Williams in that matchup now over Travis Homer.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Foreman and Williams. I can't take Williams out yet. So, yeah, I'm going with Foreman and Williams as well.
Hector says half point PPR, 0.2 of a point per carry. Need a flex out of Swift, Foreman, Edwards, or Donovan Peoples-Jones.
He needs only one of those. I'm going with Foreman. I know Foreman's going to.
He added he needs 2.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Foreman's the must start for me. And I think I have to go with Swift with that 0.2 of a point per carry. I expect Swift to snap share to go up a little bit more, especially in this divisional matchup, high scoring game. I think I go with Foreman and Swift here.
Yeah, it's Foreman and Swift for me as well. You kind of alluded to it earlier, Brant. Swift's snap count is going up. Jamal Williams does steal some touchdowns, but Swift's been fine himself. And with this game script, I expect him to have a huge week this week. So I go Foreman and Swift. David says Ayuk or Slayton in full PPR. So again, you've got Slayton against the Eagles secondary or Ayuk against the Buccaneers.
I actually go Ayuk in this one. The Philly secondary scares me. Brock Purdy scares me for Ayuk, so I'm scared of both of these guys, but I think I have to lean Ayuk on this one.
Yeah, neither one of these guys are particularly safe for me in my eyes, Brant. I think there's too many other weapons in San Francisco, and again, I don't really trust Josh or Brock Purdy myself. So seeing as I think neither one of these guys are exceptionally safe, I think the easier to obtain ceiling is for Darius Slayton here, just because there's no other guys to really steal targets from him. I don't necessarily trust Richie James or what is it, Isaiah Hodges to steal a lot of work. So I'm actually going Slayton in a game that I expect Daniel Jones to have to throw the ball a little bit. So I do go Slayton here just because I don't trust either one of these guys this week. So give me the guy that I think can get to his ceiling a little easier, and that's Slayton. Circumstances have changed. So Josh says, I asked a few days ago on a post, but circumstances have changed with Mike Williams. Goodness gracious, I'm going to get that right eventually today. And Kittle or Everett in PPR.
I actually go Kittle here. I think they I know Tampa Bay's had a very good defense. I know they're one of the toughest against tight ends, but I think I go Kittle. I think that Purdy loves his tight ends or will like his tight end. He's got one of the most explosive tight ends in the NFL. So big play upside, I go Kittle. I think that he's the higher ceiling here. But the safest play would be Mike Williams, but I really like Kittle this week, and I know that's really hard to say whenever he's playing Tampa Bay, but I really like Kittle.
Yeah, for me, it comes down to these tight ends too. Just because, again, I do think Mike Williams will be on a snap count. And again, it's one play that could put him over his projection. But as far as safety, you have to go with Kittle or Everett. And I actually think I lean Everett slightly over Kittle. The game script is higher projected points. And the Chargers are giving 3.5, so that, they're expected to win the game. So I actually go Gerald Everett in this one.
Okay.
Hector says, need to fill a flex spot out of Swift. Oh, okay. This is the one where we took Swift and Foreman.
Yep.
Lewis says, Raheem Mostert or Homer. I'm also stuck between Watson or Huntley. I had Rodgers at quarterback. He sucks, so picked up Jimmy G, but we know where he went. Upside wise, I think I have to go to Deshaun Watson. The Cincinnati defense doesn't necessarily scare me a whole lot. And I do think that eventually, we're still working that rust off from, the almost 2 years of not playing contact football for Deshaun Watson. But I do like his weapons a little bit better as a whole than I like Tyler Huntley. So I go Deshaun Watson at the quarterback position. And then obviously Homer is the one I'm picking over Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, my safest play actually is for quarterback would be Huntley, because I know what I'm getting. We've seen, him play in the last 2 years, but I think that higher upside has to be Watson. We know that Watson can on any given night could be hanging 30, 40 points as a quarterback. So I think I actually lean Watson to play this week. And as for the running back, I'm leaning Homer over Mostert.
Okay. Cameron says Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy. I want no part of either of these two, but if I had to play one, I'm gonna go Brock Purdy just because I think Purdy has more weapons that he can dump the ball off on short yardage passes to that can make plays for him in Debo, Kittle, and CMC. So I think I go Brock Purdy in this one.
Yeah, and I'm leaning Brock Purdy in this one as well. So yeah, I like Purdy over Darnold here. Same thing you said. I don't like either one of them, but I'm going to lean Brock Purdy.
Bradley, says Brady or Watson. Man, I think I have to go Watson again here. Brady has just not looked like Brady of the past this year. And in last week's game, Monday Night Football last week, Brady was basically shut down until the last 3 minutes of that game against New Orleans. And again, the 49ers defense, they're going to be in Brady's face all day. I go Deshaun Watson here.
Yeah, I'm going to take Watson over Brady here too. I know we just alluded to him shaking off the rust, but I don't trust Brady this week against that tough defense. We saw him struggle last week against New Orleans. I know he always struggles against New Orleans, but I have to go with Watson here.
Jonathan says PPR Pacheco or DeAndre Swift.
PPR, I think I actually lean Swift here. I expect a big week out of Swift. I know that Pacheco has taken over that lead back, but Denver's defense has been very, very good this year. So I actually am going to lean Swift in this one.
Yeah, Pacheco has taken over the lead in carries, but as far as PPR work goes, that's still Jerick McKinnon for the Chiefs for the most part. I know Pacheco's sprinkling out a few catches here and there, but I think because of this being PPR, I also go Swift. Paul says, need one for a flex and a must-win for playoff spot. PPR scoring as well. DJ Moore, Joshua Palmer, or Michael Gallup. I want to lean Palmer. However, Mike Williams is limiting as a chance to play. For me, I take Michael Gallup out of this one. Again, I think that there's a chance that Dallas doesn't have to pass the ball much after the first half. And so if I'm saying I'm taking Michael Gallup, who's going to play probably 2 quarters against DJ Moore or Josh Palmer, who I expect to play full games. Obviously, I want to go with the guys that are going to get 4 quarters. So then it comes down to Palmer or Moore for me, and I go Palmer. DJ Moore's been left a lot to be desired this year. I know a lot of that has to do with the rotating hands at quarterback, between PJ Walker, Baker Mayfield, and now Sam Darnold. But I do think until DJ Moore makes me, or Sam Darnold makes me more comfortable with that, I guess, I have to go Josh Palmer, who's looked good numerous times this year.
Yeah, I think I have to go with Josh Palmer here as well. DJ Moore scares me. You don't know what you're going to get. He's probably going to see Traquan Woolen for the majority of the game. And like I said, Woolen's been pretty good. But yeah, I think with the safest play out of those 3 is Joshua Palmer. I love Gallup, but like you said, he may be done after 2 quarters. So I think I have to go with Palmer.
Dustin says Debo or Hollywood Brown.
So since CMC came to town, Debo's been not that great. He's been serviceable, but he has not been that great. So in this one, I honestly lean Hollywood Brown. I think that, New England's going to try to take Hopkins out of the game and make Connor or Marquise Hollywood Brown beat him. So I actually lean Brown in this one. I like his upside more.
So Debo hasn't had since CMC's been there, he hasn't really had any explosions. He did finish his wide receiver 5 against the Arizona Cardinals in week 11. So just 3 weeks ago, He's projected to finish this week as wide receiver 19 currently. And since he still had 9, 7, and 10 targets the last 3 weeks, so I do still think Debo's going to be a guy that they game script to get short yardage passes to let him make some plays. I expect to see some screen passes to him, maybe even some end arounds. So I do think I go Debo over Hollywood. DeAndre Hopkins has been, the guy since he got back after week 6, I believe. And, Rondale Moore's looked very good as well for Arizona. So I do think I go Debo here. But again, it's not as appealing as it was prior to CMC. Hector says one PPR need to fill one running back and a flex out of Rachaad White, Gus Edwards, Travis Homer, Matt Breida, and Demarcus Robinson.
So with the Homer news, I just got the text that just came through was from my intel through Pete, aka my father, who keeps up on that Seattle beat pretty quickly. Godwin, not going to pronounce his last name, has been elevated and will be active and probably see some touches in the backfield. So Homer is going to lose a few touches to Godwin in our backfield as our number 2 or 3 back. As for your question here, I go with one running back. I still go Homer out of those names. And for flex, this one may be just shot in the dark. I actually go Demarcus Robinson. I like Huntley throwing the ball. I think that he sees quite a bit of targets. So I actually think I go Demarcus Robinson and Homer in these two.
Yeah, for me, it actually comes down to Matt Breida and Travis Homer. If Saquon Barkley does not play, I have to get Matt Breida in. If Saquon plays, then it becomes Homer for me. Again, I know a lot of people are going, well, shouldn't Rachaad White be the obvious one? If they weren't playing the 49ers, I would say, yeah, there's a chance Rachaad White should be the obvious one. But the 49ers run defense just scares the crap out of me. So I go Travis Homer here, and then as long as Saquon plays, that is. And I actually agree with you. Demarcus Robinson has looked good numerous times this year. Caleb Huntley seemed to like him a lot last week. So I do go Demarcus Robinson as the other one as well.
Yeah, if Barkley is out, absolutely get Breida in your lineup. But if Barkley plays, then I don't trust Breida.
Dustin says Herbert or Dak for quarterback here. Again, I think Dak could have an amazing week, but it's going to have to happen in 2 quarters. I just do not expect Houston to stay in this game much. So for me, I'm taking the quarterback who's going to play 4 quarters, and that's Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I'm taking Herbert, highest scoring game of the week. They're going to air that ball out to keep up with that high-powered offense there in Miami. So, yeah, I'm going Herbert on this one. Pops ass, PPR flex, Kirk or Lockett? I go Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tyler Lockett's going to have a higher game script just because of the backfield being banged up. So I agree.
Yeah, I could definitely see Lockett taking some carries this week too. And we know with his speed, I know he's a little older and up there in age, but I could see Lockett carrying the ball a little bit too.
Ryan says Huntley or Brady in PPR. I think I go Tyler Huntley. The rushing upside's there. He did look serviceable anytime we've seen him come in Lamar Jackson's absence. So I do go Tyler Huntley as well. Brady just scares me. He's not looked himself this year. I know there's been a lot of off the field stuff going on with him. And I'm sure that weighs on him, even when he's under center on a Sunday. But it's not the Brady of the past. I just can't advocate starting him at this point.
Yeah, I can't start Brady. He has not looked good. He struggles against defenses. The offensive line is not helping him at all. I have to go with Huntley here.
David says Zonovan Knight or Najee Harris. Again, I'm going Najee here. I just think that game script and that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game is going to lend itself to Najee and allow Pittsburgh to run the ball. Najee's looked pretty good the last, 3 weeks here. And I just don't trust that Jets backfield. Robert Salah is from that coaching tree of Kyle Shanahan where we rotate the hot hand. And with Michael Carter being back, I do think he's going to get some carries as well. So Zonovan Knight scares me a little bit this week.
Yeah, I'm leaning Najee here. The game script's better for him. I think lower scoring game, pound the ball out. I like Najee this week.
Jennifer with the best question of the week. What's for lunch today? We're going to a Christmas performance at our church right after I get off this live. So then it's going to be a mad scramble to get home and get something prepared prior to getting kickoff. So we're having pizza for lunch and some barbecue weenies for dinner. So it's kind of a light day on food here for us.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's on our dinner menu. I didn't actually check prior to sitting down. I know, this FatBoy should have, but I was worried about breakfast.
One meal at a time. I get it.
Yeah, but as for lunch, I think we're going to be scrambling also with some pizzas. We got some basketball games this afternoon, so I think we're going to keep our lunch fairly easy with some frozen pizzas and nothing too special today. Got to stay focused on my fantasy. I know once the games kick off, I can't really do a whole lot, but I'm going to stay focused on it through lunch.
David says Corey Davis or Donovan Peoples-Jones. Corey Davis has looked great the last couple of weeks. I know with Mike White, a lot of the pass catchers look really good there, but I do give the slight nod to Donovan Peoples-Jones just because Amari Cooper's dealing with a hip injury as a wide receiver. That's tough. I don't expect Corey Davis to be the one for the Jets. I think that's going to be Garrett Wilson, whereas Donovan Peoples-Jones has a chance to be the one for the Browns this week.
Yeah, I'm going with Peoples-Jones as well here. I expect higher performance out of him this week. With Amari Cooper dealing with the injury. So yeah, I like Peoples-Jones here. Sorry, struggling through that one apparently.
We've got a daily lineup question here. Michael says Zeke or Sanders nearly the same price on DraftKings. I think I go Zeke again. I think both the Dallas backs are going to have amazing weeks this week. Whereas Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts could just as easily throw the ball 40 times as they could run it 20. So I go Zeke in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Zeke. I think the game script's going to be better for Zeke. I think they're going to put the foot on the pedal early and then lean on the backs to salt that game away against Houston. So I'm going to go with Zeke. Next one is Murray or Homer. I go Homer here. I don't trust Latavius Murray. I don't trust Denver's offense. Judy's about the only thing I like this week in that offense. So yeah, I'm going to go with Travis Homer here.
Yeah, I also lean Homer. I think, again, Kansas City jumps to a lead in that game and Denver's playing catch up through the air. So I go Homer. As far as the tight end question from Jose, Greg Dulcich or Njoku, again, just due to the fact that I think Denver's going to be playing catch up from behind, and Nathaniel Hackett's coming out talking about how much he likes Dulcich as a pass catcher. I go Dulcich here.
Yep, I go Dulcich as well. I think they're playing from behind. I think Kansas City tries to make a statement on this game. I know it's not hard to do against Denver because, well, their offense can't score more than 12 points a game. So I still lean Dulcich, though, because I think they're playing from behind all game.
Okay.
Mackenzie, my sister, asked us Fournette or White here with Tampa Bay. I actually lean Fournette this week out of those two just because I think the game script's better for them. I think it's going to be a more pound the ball out one. So I lean Fournette on this one.
Yeah, this one does. If I had to play one of them, I do think it's probably a Fournette week. It just the Tampa or the Niners defense does lend itself to, run the ball up the gut and pick up 3 or 4 yards at a time rather than try to bounce it outside just because they're so quick on the edge there in San Fran. So I go Leonard Fournette as well. Tripp says Herbert or Tua at quarterback. This one actually really in my mind is very similar to the Tua and Burrow question up ahead earlier. This one you can't go wrong either way. I think you have two good options here at quarterback. And so for me, I think I do go Tua in this one slightly just because I like Tyreek Hill so much. I think I go Tua.
Yeah, I think once again, you can't go wrong here. I think I like Tua a little better. I think he's got the quicker wide receivers with Waddle and Hill there, so I actually lean Tua just by a little chin hair there. So yeah, give me Tua.
No, Brant, I think that kind of wraps up any questions that, we only got about 60 seconds here left on our live. I do want to say, I know we're going to get into our prop bets, go through those really quick, but if you have any more start sits the rest of the day, after we get off the live, jump over to the Fantasy Holics page, ask your questions on that start sit post. They're very quick to respond over there, and they will give you answers and get you set straight. This is an important week, so make sure you're online with your matchups. So Brant, if you want to run me through your prop bets really quick, and then I'll go through mine.
Yeah, I like Kareem Hunt under his rushing yards at 28.5 rushing yards. I like him to go under that. I like Quez Watkins there in Philly to go over 27.5 receiving yards, and I like DeAndre Swift also to go over his receiving yards at 26.5.
I've got Josh Allen under 302.5 total yards. Last time he played the Jets, he only hit 291 total yards. So I like him to stay under. I've got Michael Carter over 33.5 rushing / reception yards. Again, I think he's going to be heavily involved his first week back. And then the last one I actually have is Deshaun Watson over 253.5 total yards as well. I think he takes off a little bit and makes this game competitive there against the Bengals. So I know we're going to put out a couple more on our FatBoyz Facebook page, just for those of you that do like to place those daily bets. So be looking out for those. And as always,
stay hungry
and stay fat, my friend.